Hello everyone and welcome to SpartanGaming plays Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishments. So this is the last Sherlock Holmes game that featured the Sherlock that we see in this one, which is the 40 plus widow's peak older gentleman and after this they went to the Devil's Daughter, which featured a more younger version of Sherlock, and then to the later ones, or should I say the more modern ones, where it features an even younger version of him. So yeah, this is the end of a series for me, unfortunately. As you probably know if you follow my channel, I've been playing a lot of the Sherlock Holmes games, all the way from The Awakened up to now, and this is where the end happens. I don't like Devil's Daughter, never did. Can never get into it. It took too much action. Not enough pointy, clicky adventure game. And I'm not really a fan of the new ones. Young Sherlock is, I don't know. To me, it's not Sherlock. It's too, yeah, it's weird. I like this version of Sherlock Holmes, the older man. It fits the character more. But yeah, that's just me. But anyway, yeah, this game is very different from The Testament. I forgot what it's called then. They added some things, they removed some things. We could discuss that when we're in the game. Some things are good, some things are quite bad, in a sense. The worst thing about this game is they changed Watson's bloody voice, and I can't get used to it. It ruined this experience for me. But yeah, we'll see when we start a new game. We can look at the cases. There should be 6. Yeah, there's 6 cases. Each case is sort of independent. They don't follow a story. They don't continue over. They're kind of individual based, which is kind of cool. But I don't know. I like more of a story that's all connected. But again, this is different, isn't it? Especially from the Testament, which was more a story from the beginning all the way to the end. Yeah, I guess you could say the Testament was one case. The 6 cases in this are individual, and yeah, it's good, but yeah, I don't know. I fear change. That's my problem. Anyway, let's begin, shall we? We get an interesting opening. Introduced to the first new weird mechanic, which is oh yeah, there's this weird opening as well, which is very odd. I don't get it. Apparently this game is heavily influenced by the TV show that came out around the time with Benedict Cumberbatch on. So yeah, that goes to show how kind of weird this game is. And the book he's reading is Crimes and Punishments, which is what the game is related to. So here we go. We have to dart from cover. I don't know why we need to do this. It's odd. You can't get it wrong. I don't think you can. What about him?
Stop that.
Oh, Watson's voice. It's so odd.
You are utterly mad. Stop, Holmes.
Is that you, Watson?
Yes, of course it is. And you almost killed me.
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Blindfolded? You...
Watson, quiet, please. I'm trying to concentrate. Ah, Lestrade. What is it this time?
He can see me. Well, here it is, and it's a good one, Mr. Holmes. A gentleman by the name of Peter Carey, also known as Black Peter, has been murdered.
A sailor, most probably.
What happened here?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, how could you?
It's the only exercise I've had all week. A grateful client from Limoges sent me a vase collection this morning. I couldn't think of a better use for it.
You're out of your mind.
I missed 4 out of 10.
Given you were blindfolded, that was very good. Can I have a try?
Am I the only sane one here?
I suppose that Watson is right, Inspector. A little brain work would be preferable now. Do please tell us more about Black Peter.
Peter Carey, born in 1845 and 50 years old. An ambitious sort, he achieved much success in seal and whale hunting around Scandinavia. Retired in 1884 with a small fortune. He invested his money in a property called Woodman's Lee, near Forest Row in Sussex. It was where he lived for 6 years, and where he was found dead yesterday.
Has the investigation already begun?
Yes and no. In fact, this crime is so mysterious that I would prefer you to join me down there.
Give me half an hour to prepare, Inspector.
Take your time and join me there. I have to go through the yard first. The Merry Men struck again.
What have they done this time?
They robbed a powder reserve. I'll meet you at Woodman's Lee, Mr. Holmes.
I should help Mrs. Hudson here. I also have several appointments that I must keep this afternoon.
I shall go alone, then.
Ah, Watson's voice. What's going on? It's what I mean by his voice. Maybe it's just me, but I don't like his voice. It doesn't fit his character. He looks really young as well. His hair is a lot darker. You've de-aged Watson. Well, I must remind you that this game is set before the Testament of Sherlock Holmes. It's set between 1894 to 1895, I think, or 93 to 94, something like that. But yeah. But yeah, look how gorgeous this game is, though. Like, it's so good. Unreal Engine 3, isn't it? The first time it's released. The previous games weren't released in an Unreal Engine 3, but you can tell the graphical overhaul is just beautiful. Everything's got like this. The room itself it's got like a weird, like heavy smoke to it, which would make sense, you know, Sherlock smokes. And there's an open fire, which is bloody dangerous with all these newspapers just strewn onto the floor. It's the first time we see Mrs. Hudson as well. I think Mrs. Hudson is his, she owns the house that he's renting. I think. I could be wrong, but yeah. And if they only remade Jack the Ripper game in this engine, God, I would die a happy man. It's bloody nice. Obviously nothing to do with, you know, it's not up to par with today's games, but still. It's a very nice looking game. I don't like how there's an open fire next to a chair. Dangerous, man. You set your house on fire. So, as you progress through the different cases, you unlock makeup, hats, and weird hair that does not fit his face. I don't know. You should have one hat available. It's like a... I'm wearing this top hat because it looks cool. You can also put like tashes on him and stuff. It's just very weird. Like, I want this mustache. Look at it. It looks like one of those that is corny 1800s villains with this fiddle in their mustache. But unfortunately, you can't equip it until you unlock it. Well, if we look in the wardrobe, we're going to pick the black suit because it looks cooler, but there's different outfits. I don't want to look through them because some of them will spoil some of the story for later. And we can leave. So, yeah, there's a lot of changes in this game. the menus are different. You don't really pick up items anymore. You pick up evidence, and you can't merge or play around with it, which is kind of annoying. But you know, like you get the same documents and dialogue you can look through. These are achievement-based thing, echoes and souvenirs, character profiles, your tasks. You can no longer press space to highlight points of interest. They've removed that. Instead, we get this vision, which is in imagination, which helps you visualize objects and events. It's only useful when you need it. And I think it's T. Yeah, this is basically a Sherlock vision or whatever they coined it as. This is the vision that's heavily implemented from the TV show. We'll see it in action soon. But we should be able to just leave. There's another thing in this game, and it's these. These load screens. I mean, they're not long. They're always there, and you have to do a lot of fast traveling, especially in this first mission. So I'm gonna cut them all out if I can.
Mr. Holmes, I'm over here. Come on.
So, this begins our first case. Here we go. So if we press T and we look on these footsteps. This is basically what it does. It just gives you information and then you can
These footprints appear to
interact
be
with stuff.
large.
I don't know why it's a thing. Again, it's to do with this TV show, I'm guessing, but, you know.
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
Let's talk to Mrs. Carey.
Inspector Lestrade, when will you remove my husband's body? It's sacrilegious to leave him here like this.
As soon as we can, Mrs. Carey, I assure you. Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective. No doubt you've heard of him. I'll wait for you in front of the cabin, Mr. Holmes.
My condolences, Mrs. Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
So you can ask her questions or you can use this. So you basically have the option to... what would you call this? Analyzing the person you're talking to. Finding information about them. It does help when you talk to them. You can get you can open more interactive conversations with them. I already know this because I've done it loads of times. Character portrait. That's what we're doing.
Madam, can you tell me if you saw or heard anything unusual upon the night of the murder?
At 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard a terrible scream. But I thought nothing of it then. He would scream all the time when he was drunk.
Oh. To say this woman's in her 50s, this is remarkably smooth-skinned. Like, she's got the skin of like a 30-year-old? Takes very, very good care of her body, of her face. I guess. Weird. Her face doesn't fit her age.
Tell me what occurred on the evening of the murder?
Well, Peter got drunk in the evening. He was in such a terrible temper. Usually whenever that happened, he'd stay all night drinking in his cabin before passing out.
Husband sounds like a dickhead.
Do you remember at what time you found your husband's body?
In the morning, at around 7 o'clock. I noticed the cabin door was open, but I didn't go in to take a look, for I knew my husband would not have liked it. At around 10 o'clock, I dared to glance in through the door and... oh dear.
Was your husband accustomed to receiving visitors?
Oh no, I don't think so. I mean, he didn't really have many friends. We lived quite an isolated life here after his retirement.
Because your husband's an asshole. Well, you didn't have any friends. Who wants to be friends with a drunken idiot?
The garden is very large and well
It's like
maintained.
being friends with English
You
people.
employ someone to look after it.
It is true, there is a lot of work, but my husband took care of it himself.
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes, life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh my goodness, but how do you know about that?
See, because we've done the character the portrait, we can do this this type of conversation where you can. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, you basically you unlock an extra piece of dialogue. So how do we know about Plymouth? It's because of her pilgrimage.
You undertook a pilgrimage to the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela when you were young. That much is evident from the rosary in your hand. The shortest route for the pilgrim from England to Spain is from Plymouth. I believe that you met Peter Carey as a young sailor there, and you married him soon afterwards.
That is indeed what happened, Mr. Holmes. How extraordinary.
Hey, they got Sherlock right in this game. It being able to psychoanalyze somebody like that is crazy. Well, we're done for now.
Peter Carey's body is inside the cabin. We took care not to touch anything.
Waiting for the real police, were you? Good lad.
The door is locked.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Holmes, and I'll open it. I locked it yesterday to ensure that no one should enter the cabin and tamper with the evidence.
Ah, good thinking.
Hello, hello, hello.
What is it, Lestrade?
It seems to me that someone has tried to force it, Mr. Holmes.
Let me see.
Oh, this is where you're first told to use T. Door. Door lock. Scratches.
These scratches are fresh. You're right. Someone tried to force open the door.
I swear these scratches were not here yesterday.
Our mysterious visitor came here last night.
Well, he's not the man for the job. This lock is not a difficult one.
Perhaps he did not have the right tool.
They probably mentioned this game is quite gory. It's got bodies and stuff in it, and a bit of blood. Nothing like today's games, but
Terrible way to die.
still a bit. You know, you don't expect to open a door and see a guy harpoon to a wall, do you? Oh well, better him than me, I guess. We can press T again. Just to do with the shelf. Suspiciously empty. Outlining dust.
This place is not covered with dust, like the rest of the shelf. An object was taken from here. It was larger than a book. A box or a small chest, perhaps.
This is where we get to use the weird imagination. It shows you these types of things. What you imagine is missing.
The tooth of a sperm whale, probably from one of Peter Carey's catches.
And when you've done a scene or an area, it goes green, meaning that you've done it, which is nice.
The ship's logs of the 𝘨𝘨𝘮𝘴 for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain.
The chest.
Peter Carey's boots. They look to be a size 8.
Guess I'm taking them.
Old navigation instruments, nothing interesting.
We never think before we look at his body.
The 𝘨𝘨𝘮𝘴. She was the ship that Peter Carey commanded.
Yeah, not having space is going to screw me over eventually. Not so much in this mission, because I've done it enough times.
Someone drank from this glass recently. Rum, a sailor's drink. It seemed that Captain Carey was enjoying a drink before he met his death.
He's too glad to see it, meaning that he must have had a guest.
The initials PC have been crudely burned. A sailor's work.
Penis Club, obviously.
This aroma is familiar, but to recognize it, I must construct my associations in one picture.
We do get a lot of these weird, like, puzzles. They're not too difficult. Just move the image around. I'm trying to line up the sail. And you should be able to move these back and forth. And this went down. There we go.
Yes.
Yes.
Horse tobacco, quite strong and very popular among sailors.
I think that's roughly everything that's in here. We can examine the pool of blood.
JHN are probably the initials of the owner of this notebook. The pattern of the blood stain indicates that the notebook was not lying on the floor prior to the crime, but it was dropped into the pool of blood after the death of Peter Carey. These abbreviations mean something, but what?
Sure, we'll find out soon.
This wooden handle is plain and solid. This blood is from the pool underneath the dead body. Peter Carey tried to defend himself with this knife, but he did not succeed.
How do you defend against the harpoon? Is the question.
Peter Carey was impaled to the wall by a whaling harpoon.
It's ironic, isn't it? He's a whaler and he gets killed by a whaling harpoon.
The weapon fully penetrated the body. The force of the blow was immense. Peter Carey was fully dressed. He was not caught by surprise. It is possible that he knew his murderer. This man is in his 50s, yet he still looks quite strong.
I think that's roughly it. Pressing tab and go into here. Yeah, so now we get the deduction board, which is really not good. This is the thing I don't like about this game. Aside from Watson's voice, is this weird deduction thing. So remember in the previous games, it was a board, just a square little board, and it had little pieces of paper on. And you clicked on the piece of paper, and then it pooped out a question, and then you matched the question to the answers and stuff. In this, it's finding nodes. The node system reminds me so much of, if you ever played a game called Prototype, which came out, oh god, when did that come out? 2000 something. It came out the same year as Infamous did. There's a node system on that, kind of like this, with these weird nodes. So what you do is, all you need to do is click two pieces of information, and if it connects, it will poop out information like this. So if you click on something and it doesn't work, it goes red. See, and then when you've got the correct answer, you click on this node, and it gives you this: make an ambush. An ambush must be made tonight to see if the break-in attempt will be repeated.
Someone was here yesterday. They attempted to force the door to gain entry.
And we've got to organize an ambush. It's a very... it's photogenic as folk, that is. I don't think you can merge anything else together. No pin to the wall. No gardener. No more breaking attempts. No. Must be later. But while we're here, we can use Peter Carey's boots.
These boots don't match the footprints.
That's going to come in handy later. See, this is something that's missable. Which is, yeah. It comes into play later.
Well, Mr. Holmes, what do you think?
I think that we are lucky.
And why is that?
Because of last night's attempted break-in.
Oof, you've lost me.
It is very probable that whoever came here hoped to find the door open. They tried to force it with a knife blade, but they failed. What will they do? Why, return tonight, when they will be better prepared.
Aha! So what do you propose?
We shall remain on the outside, near the window, where we stand the best chance of catching sight of our visitor. Well, gentlemen, ready your pistols. We have a long night ahead of us.
Crap, I forgot I needed to do this. Behind this window.
This looks like the perfect hiding place.
Excellent.
Did you hear that?
No. Spooky. As if this idiot's come back.
There's someone there. I'm gonna collar him.
I'll be right behind you.
Get your gun.
Police! Hold it right there!
It's weird, the cops have guns in this game. Like, before, even in the Jack the Ripper case, they didn't have guns. They only had, like, truncheons and
Mr. Holmes,
stuff.
come and see what we've caught in.
I'm here, sorry.
All right, my fine fellow. Who are you and what are you doing here?
You're detectives, I suppose. You imagine that I'm connected with the death of Captain Carey. I assure you I'm innocent.
Innocent? And what are you doing in his cabin?
Shall I tell you? You came to retrieve what you had lost after killing Peter
Oh,
Carey.
look his hands.
We were here, waiting for you.
What is your name?
John 𝘨𝘨𝘮𝘪𝘮, but I didn't...
Do you deny that you came here yesterday?
No, but yes, it's just that I couldn't...
I'm tired of this. Off we go to the yard. Tomorrow, I'll see that you're put in front of the judge.
What? But you can't! I'm not... It's a terrible mistake!
Enough. You can explain all of that to the judge. You're coming with me to the yard.
But...
In light of recent events, it seems evident that your coming here was unnecessary. All the same, I'm very grateful to you, Mr. Holmes.
You are welcome, Inspector. But please don't be too hard on our young fellow. I would like to question him tomorrow morning.
That was literally the worst time that guy could have broken into that fucking shack. Stupid kid. Oh, now we're heading towards interrogating John 𝘨𝘨𝘮𝘮𝘪𝘮. I'm going to cut the video here for now. Take a little pause. I normally don't cut my videos. I normally just record and then cut them up. But this is easier for doing parts. So yeah. So I'll be back very shortly for the next video. So thanks for watching, peeps. And yeah, stay safe. And I'll see you next time. Bye.